have it your way. Nothing? Anything? Yo quiero Taco Bell.
So we're saying...
I'm loving it.
Uh-huh.
I guess, does it have to be like Midwest-centric to really be good?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Whole lot of Mexican going on.
Oh.
Going on at Taco John's.
Is this a callback to last episode?
Yes, hey, it's a whole new pod,
Yeah.
the podcast that we release on a 2-week interval, so it's very silly for us to call back to something that came out 2 weeks ago, but we're the podcast all about Disney Channel original movies.
Love that.
I'm your funny host, Lucas Melby.
And I'm just your other host, Jacob Telejohn.
Yeah, and to give the answer to the question Jacob posed at the end of the last episode, that was an old, antiquated slogan, I guess, for Culver's, which is not a Minnesota-based chain, but it's based out of Wisconsin, so it gets around.
A better brand of beef makes a butter burger better.
Yeah.
A better brand of boy.
To save you from listening to the last episode, just again at the end. But yeah, as I said, we're the podcast all about Disney Channel original movies. We do it every other week because that allows us to maintain our sanity. Something that...
More so Lucas than myself.
Yeah, well, Jacob can't even bring himself to watch the full movie most of the time.
Hey, I wasn't on my phone at all this movie.
He's
watched
already
it.
on his phone in this episode and has the laptop in front of him, too.
Well, I have the wiki, the Bad Hair Day wiki here.
Yeah, you also could just watch the movie.
Well, I did. I watched the whole movie today, didn't I?
What I would like to give an update on, though, is that something that doesn't matter the time frame, and I'm sure many fans have been waiting with bated breath and anticipation of Lucas' fall update. So I fell again.
No.
This time, it was a nice warm day again, so that meant ice. So I thought ahead, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to run. I'm just going to go for a nice leisurely walk around the neighborhood. And when it had been a little colder, I was doing some running still, and I just stayed in the street because in Minnesota, especially during the winter time, after a little bit, the streets just become like bone dry because they're so covered in like salt and sand and like little pebbles. So it's like, that's the safe place to be. So on this walk, I was cognizant of this, and I was just stepping off of the sidewalk into the street and then hit some ice, and it was like an inclined street. So then I fell and I cut about like a dime-sized chunk off of my hand.
What the
So this was about 5 minutes into my walk, so then I just turned back home with like blood pooling in my hand.
God.
And
did you wrap it?
Yeah, I wrapped it, and I've got, I guess they're kind of Band-Aids for like curing blisters, which would kind of be like missing a chunk out of my hand, but...
Did it help at all, you think?
I mean, it's been a few days, but there hasn't really been any closure. And they say like, so like this like really traps in like the moisture. And I guess you're not supposed to like air it out because then it like scars or whatever. So I don't know.
You're not supposed to let cuts air out?
Apparently.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that leads to scarring. Not that I'm like overly concerned about my hand.
I had a cut on my finger earlier this week where I took a Band-Aid off when I got home, and then it just like opened up again, and I just noticed like blood all over my like belly and like my arm or my arm because it had opened up and it was just bleeding, and I didn't notice it. So I had a cut too early this week.
How did you get the cut?
Just work. Something on like I don't
he's
even know.
He's a man
what
of his
happened.
hands. He's a man's man.
I'm a man's man. Yeah, I just dinged it on some metal probably and just started bleeding.
He's beating up some street tough. Just came home. Didn't even realize I was bleeding. That happened to me sometimes where
what is pain?
When I'd run, I wouldn't realize. Basically, this is a bit of a TMI. It's like, it doesn't even have to, like, my toenails didn't even have to be that long, but sometimes just my toes would rub up against each other weiweirdly. Yeah. So they're like my sock. I only have like black socks at this point. So they're just sometimes, I guess, would be like soaked in blood for my like toes, because like if you get like a little cut on your toes and you're running, then like your blood is pumping more. Yeah. And like, my feet are sweating. So it kind of so I like leave bloody toe prints around the house.
Oh my God.
Like, oh shit.
That sounds scary.
Yeah. As I said, I'm the real man's man. That's why I do a podcast about Disney Channel original.
The Bloody Toe Man. It sounds like a horror character.
And yeah, I don't know. That's enough bants, I think.
I can throw out that we had a lockdown at work today. Over the intercom, they said, "This is a lockdown. Please go to your safe places."
Was it a real one?
This is a lockdown. No, nobody knows what happened. If like a button got accidentally pressed or what happened. So we all just kind of like stood around like, should we be like doing something? People are like, what the hell? Because like normally, like we've done like fire drills and stuff like this before. So like normally
required to.
Yeah.
Whenever we do fire drills at my job, I just assume. I don't know where to go.
Even like tornado drills.
I never know where to go during them, so I just stay at my desk and keep working.
Like we know where to go for our tornado drills and for our fire drills. Like fire drills are outside across the street. But I wouldn't have no idea where to go for the safety for lockdowns. I mean, we've had like videos and stuff about it. But the boss came around and said, we don't know
You're all fire.
You failed. You're all dead. You're all dead. What was also funny is our former boss came in like 2-3 minutes later, just came walking. He doesn't work there anymore, and he came walking down the aisle just to like say hello or whatever. He'd showed up, and it was just a coincidence that it was right after.
It wasn't a lockdown for him.
No, it wasn't.
He wasn't an irate former employee.
No, it was just weird. So we all just kind of stood around. And somebody made the joke like, "Dude, we'd all be dead." We're just like standing around like waiting because we didn't know like what was actually going on. It was just weird.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Bad hair day.
Yeah, I'm just trying to eat up some time here because this might be like a 30-minute pod. Maybe we'll be able to milk it out a little bit more. We'll see.
Milk it.
Milk it.
I'm milking it. I'm from Minnesota.
Milk.
There's not enough rum for my milk on my pillow.
Do you say milk or milk?
You said milk.
I say milk.
Well, that's not what you just said earlier.
I might say it many different ways.
Also, don't say it like that. You can just say milk. You don't need to go milk.
Milk.
No, he said milk earlier.
Milk.
Yeah, you said.
Well, like jokingly, I said milk.
Well, no, you said we're
chocolate
trying to
milk?
milking this episode.
Well, I say chocolate milk.
Who are you joking to when you say that?
Myself.
I'm at a restaurant. I'm ordering chocolate milk. Did you get that? whole lot of Mexican going on.
Going out of Taco John's.
All right, so today's movie, Bad Hair Day, also known as Every Day of My Life.
Is that true? Do you have a lot of hair that sticks up on a daily basis?
I don't know. Do you think my hair ever looks good, Jacob?
It doesn't look bad. I wouldn't say it looks great, but it's not bad.
All right.
It's not bad.
That's fair. As
it's
I
fine.
say, don't look up pictures of us ever. So this movie, like How to Build a Better Boy, I think had kind of a negative reputation.
Yeah, that's kind of what you had told me going into it. But
despite our new recent fan being excited about the episode,
she liked the movie, yeah.
But we don't know if that was a positive excitement that she liked the movie.
I wanted to see us like writhe in anger over the film.
It's not a good movie, but I think like some of our more recent episodes, we're able to appreciate it's a fun bad, though it is just generally structurally very odd.
It's all
for a
over
Disney
the place.
Channel original movie.
Yeah, it didn't really necessarily feel like a DCOM, and one of the reasons for that I think is because one of kind of the main characters is an adult. Which, I mean, we've had those, but not for a while. Like the Jenny Project, we have like the dad's one of the main characters, but we really don't.
got to go back to the Jenny
Project. Yeah, check that pod out. But we really don't have a lot of...
really, if you go back to Good Luck Charlie, it's Christmas.
Okay.
Speaking of Good Luck Charlie, it's Christmas. One of the main characters we'll get to a little into the movie is played by Lee Allen Baker, who is the mom in Good Luck Charlie, as well as, of course, Good Luck Charlie, it's Christmas. And our main character, Monica, is played by Laura. I spilled water on my sheet. Laura Morano.
I actually hadn't read this. I didn't read this part of the wiki, but it says that this was Disney Channel's first movie with an adult lead.
Well, but Good Luck Charlie, it's Christmas.
Yeah, and that's just that was a quote from whoever Baker
And what
was.
about? Well, she's just a liar. She hasn't watched every Disney Channel original movie like us.
Lee Allen Baker.
Yeah. Lee Allen Baker, you're a straight fraud.
Yeah.
Do your freaking goddamn research.
Jeez.
Have you heard of You Lucky Effin' Dog? Have you heard of Johnny Tsunami?
True. Preach.
I mean, he's not the lead. Or what? 'Twas the Night. Bryan Cranston's kind of. He's at least like as much of a main character as this person is.
Yeah.
So that's the great insight Jacob gives as somebody who has watched all these movies and still is just going to take the word.
No, but
Lee Allen Baker.
I said what I brought up.
Do your own
the Jenny
fact
Project.
check this shit.
I brought up
Jacob.
the Jenny Project.
Well, Jenny Project, the main character is the mailman.
The Papa.
We all remember the mailman.
Yes, the mailman.
But this main character, Monica, She is, I think, as I said, Laura Morano. She is from the show Austin and Ally, which is in the same kind of memory hole as like the Ant Farm. But even like Ant Farm, that Lab Rats, those names have something. Austin and Ally, like what? You got to try harder, Disney Channel.
So in the Austin and Ally show, it says that they use 4 cameras and they shot up roughly 10 scenes a day. Whereas for this movie, they used like just a few cameras.
Okay,
and
please.
They shot scenes that took a whole day.
Please
Lucas.
shut your computer.
A whole day.
That is extremely boring.
These are all the. I mean, we're trying to milk out this 25-minute episode a little longer.
So the kind of oddness of this is even present right away with this character, because we're getting nice little establishing, environmental storytelling. We're panning around her room. Oh, what's this? Is this a prom dress on her wall? But what's this? She has 4 computer monitors.
So, and the computers kind of I don't know, it kind of just gave me like a Ferris Bueller kind of just like is this going to be like a, you kind of said, oh, she's a hacker.
Guy who has only seen Boss Baby watches the second movie and says, I'm getting Boss Baby vibes from this. It got me Ferris Bueller vibes because I didn't know what was going on.
Well, look, we were watching
Gave me the Matrix vibes because there was a computer screen and I didn't know what was
Ferris
going on.
Bueller hacks his school system from home. And like this girl, I was like, what's going on?
That's the most notable thing in that movie.
Yes, but you said she's a hacker, and I kind of believe you.
It's so notable that I know you brought
is.
that up before, and I say, code. I think you're thinking of War Games, not Ferris Bueller.
No, Ferris Bueller. So I keep referencing it, because it's true.
So Monica is both seemingly a very popular girl because she's running for prom queen. Spoiler,
and
she also wins
polls.
prom queen.
She runs polls constantly that tell her, if she's in the lead of winning the prom queen.
But polls on her own website using like proprietary software
that are
she's
getting
created.
Like thousands of votes somehow. Doesn't just run polls for who the prom queen might be. She runs polls of what outfit she should wear, if what shoes look good with this, and just different stuff.
So her main character trait is she can't make her own decisions. She is dependent on the opinions of others. And this is related to the inciting incident, because we very quickly get to the bad hair day. We hardly even know this character before she has a bad hair day, because she's trying out these different hairstyles, taking pictures of them, uploading them to the website, and then letting people vote on what hairstyle she'll use for prom. And she's using a variety of different hair products and putting like flowers in her hair, and the side ponytail wins.
Yes.
And then she goes to bed.
Bed with all this stuff that she's done to her hair. Yeah, like you said, curling and frying and twisting and twirling.
And then Jacob, at this point in the movie, says, oh, she has a bad hair day. And I'm like...
I don't think they say it actually in the movie at all, do they? We never get the title, do we?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, they don't go, this is a real Freaky Friday.
Oh, I like that.
So yes, she wakes up and has a bad hair day, but it's kind of teased out a bit where she's fumbling around and we're not seeing her hair.
We don't see it right away. She's talking to her friend, and that's when we first see it.
Yeah, she is FaceTiming her friend Sierra, and then gets the reveal. And it is...
What is that?
It is quite a messy hair day.
Yeah, it's weird. She goes through like what she... Like her friend, I don't know. They go through all the different bottles, and it says, do not iron, do not fall asleep with it, or leave it in when you sleep, and all these different things. She's like, I did all these things. She's literally pulling her hair out like it's breaking off.
Everything she wasn't supposed to. I said it's like her hair was a mogwai that she turned into a gremlin by breaking all of the rules. Jacob brought up a good point.
A Gremlins reference.
Speaking of gremlins, why didn't you just get her hair wet? He's not the only person to bring up that, because it seems like an obvious first thing you try, but she never does.
No, she just leaves it in, and she covers it with like a cat ears hat, and she wears the entire movie. Yeah, till the very end.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This movie is not even that much about her bad hair day.
No, it's not. It's kind of like
It goes into surprising direction unless you read the categories on Disney Plus, which one of them is cop.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of about a mother figure, and I don't know what the themes of the movie are. It's
not also just different. Her hair. She somehow has like warped her leather pleather plastic prom dress.
She melted it somehow. I can't remember how she melted it.
I think it's like supposed to be the steam from like the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
Then like she was trying to expand the size of her shoes and she broke them. So everything just fucked for
you can
prom.
say that again.
Then she gets a courtesy call from the DMV to schedule her driver's license test, which is not something I'm pretty sure the DMV does.
No, and they ask her, would you like to come in April 12th or whatever they say.
It's either next year or that day because nobody wants to go on prom day.
The joke was April 12th. She's like, well, that was 2 weeks ago. And she's like, no, of next year. She's like, I can't do next year. La, la. And she's like, you can do it today, 2 o'clock. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, oh, today, 2 o'clock. That's all you get. And she's like, okay, yeah.
And I thought this was going to be more, I think it would have been funnier, maybe. Just like, she didn't want to take her driver's test that day because she'd have to take her photo and she'd have a bad hair day permanently.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Or they should have just put that in as a joke anyways, because later on she does take her driver's test, but I guess she fails. So, hey, Disney Channel, here's some notes about bad hair day.
Yeah, take some notes.
Her dad works in the ER as a nurse.
Yes.
Which isn't really important, but...
No, he serves
it's mostly just important that she has a dad and she does not have a mom.
We assume that her mother left her at a young age, which is kind of explained to us.
Other issues she's working through is she has a bad boyfriend
who saves orphans all the time. She's told.
I think he's a liar.
Yeah,
he's a slacktivist. He acts like he's into like social justice stuff.
Yes, he doesn't do anything.
He just wears wristbands.
Like that's just like a blatant lie. We find out.
But she's asking him like, "Hey, I'm having a bad hair day. TM, can you give me a ride to the mall to hit up these places?" And he says, "No, I gotta go to the group home. And while he's doing this, he's combing his hair too, like he's doing stuff like with his and he's supposed to be like this big jock quarterback on the football team,
but he looks really dweeby.
Yeah, I wouldn't hit him. Sorry, I mean I might hit him with my fist,
not with your dick.
Whoa, Jacob, you would go there.
I went there, but no, yeah, he's
we're
kind of
that radical.
So the thing with her character is, and she
has a bad hair day.
Well, she does. Or a couple days. Is this all in one day?
This is one day.
So it is like a Ferris Bueller movie. All these activities.
It's another 24 episodes. It's like Jack Bauer.
Day.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's bad hair.
But the thing with her character is her traits. She has like all these like nerdy things to her, but then at the same time she also has, like we said, this popularity. A lot of characters that we've seen in the past are really only like one or the other, not both. So it is kind of different.
She's a real Cody. She's got it all. Except a good hairdo. Which actually, she never gets.
No. Well, no, she doesn't. And we'll talk about that.
All right. So we had already mentioned her, but what's this? There's a doorbell ring. Open the door, and it is FBI agent. I couldn't remember her name. It was something like McBurger Burger or something like that. But it's a fake name, but it's Leah Allen Baker.
Yes.
And... she like flashes a badge and she's saying like, hey, can I come into like your house? And Monica knows her rights and is saying like, hey, don't you have a warrant or something? And then she goes back inside and like does like a quick Google search and being like, there's no FBI office in this town.
Yeah.
No, there's
she kind of exposes her
Agent McBurger Burger or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't know yet why she's here, and she kind of explains, goes off and says, oh, well, I'm a private investigator trying to find this costume jewelry for somebody.
Yeah, just so we have something to refer to her as. She later reveals her name as Liz.
Yes.
So there's a little bit even more where Liz is like, I'm looking for this necklace. Do you know anything about it? Which actually, we forgot to talk about the necklace. It's actually the most important
thing in the movie.
The movie. So she shows that she got this necklace for like $12 or something from a pawn shop to her friend and the FaceTime, and her friend's like, ugh.
Did you poll people about that? And she's like, no, I just generally like it.
Which is actually the best decision she's ever made.
Exactly.
Kind of. So she's trying to like play off like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, this necklace.
I've never seen it
and
ever.
then Liz says, it's a crime to lie to an FBI agent. And Monica says, no, it's not. It's a lie. It's a crime to lie in court.
Frowned upon, or it's very rude to lie.
Actually, it is a crime to lie to an FBI agent. I believe it's one of the things like the Trump administration has been charged with. Or
I didn't know that.
Some people working for him, like George Papadopoulos or fucking whatever. But then she says, but it is a crime to impersonate an FBI agent.
Oh, true.
Or a police officer, as we see in the movie Let's Be Cops.
Or a mall security guard.
I don't know if that's actually a crime, but this movie makes it out.
So Monica notices that Liz has a vehicle, something that she is looking for. Her friend won't give her a ride. Her boyfriend won't give her a ride.
Her dad
but she needs to
She let her dad go to work because he's an important person.
Yeah, he's an important papa, but not important for the story.
Liz quickly says, like, okay, I'm not an FBI agent. I'm a private investigator, but I'm still looking for this necklace.
And she's like, well, I can maybe help you there if you help me out. I need to do these things, those things, and the other. And Liz just says, okay. And then they're off.
Yeah, Monica says, like, oh, I don't have the necklace here. Or I don't even, she tries to, I don't have it right now or something. So can you take me to these 3 places?
Yeah.
And then we're off. This movie, as Disney Plus lists it, is a cop movie. It is also a buddy comedy. And
a buddy comedy, yeah.
It is very much of the, there's a billion, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour.
Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, Turner and Hooch, Mismatched, Odd Couples.
Thelma and Louise.
I have seen some people compare it to that, but...
This movie?
Yeah, I don't really believe that is accurate because they're friends.
Yeah.
They are actually buddies, where this is more like they're mismatched because it's like Liz is old and out of touch and not as pretty as Monica. And Monica
she
is
cleans
young
up
and
pretty.
hip
She
and
cleans
pretty,
up pretty good at the end.
except she has a bad hair day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all kind of exhausting at times. Really, this movie is it depends on whether you find the relationship between them charming. Sometimes it's fun. A lot of the time, especially early on here, it's kind of exhausting because they're just like constantly like snipping at each other, being like, what the fuck happened to your hair? What the fuck is up with your ugly hoodie? And like that kind of just like, okay. But they do get into some fun shenanigans.
Do they immediately go to the DMV or to the mall here?
Well, first,
I can't remember.
The villain is not actually her hairdo. It is Pierce Peters.
PP.
An infamous jewel thief.
Infamous.
I don't even know.
We see a clip of him. I don't know when it is, but we see a clip of him doing like some Mission Impossible type thing to steal this.
That's later on.
Yeah.
But here he does kind of something similar where he like cuts the power to like the pawn shop.
Oh yeah.
And like
kind of menacing. He like
maybe out of a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he's also looking for the necklace.
He's very kind of threatening towards the pawn shop guy who's freaking out because this dude looks like he's going to kill him.
And back to Liz and Monica. Liz is uncool, so she has a crappy car that she calls Brando after Marlon Brando. But Monica doesn't know who that is because Liz is so old.
I dig the car. It's got she's got like multiple monitors in it. You know, she's got a red button, which plays a role later on in the film.
Yeah. Monica's worried about people seeing her in the car because she's got to maintain her votes for prom queen, which it's unclear how she's like, oh, I'm tracking these votes. It's like, well, have people actually voted?
Right. Yeah.
Or do you have actual like pollsters out there asking people who they're going to vote for? But they come across some like high school bros.
Aiden, was it Aiden 1 and Aiden 2?
Aiden, Breeden, Jasper, also Aiden. So that was kind of funny, but then
they're drinking like some Jamba Juice or something, and they all have sunglasses on. Like they all just look like real bros.
Pop collars.
Liz is trying to embarrass Monica, right? So she gets out like her...
No, she's not trying to embarrass... Well, she's a little like, why are you worried about what people think of you?
Yeah.
But then when they pull away and throw their Jamba... Like, full Jamba Juice, like, why would they actually throw that away? And they litter...
Dummies.
Then she goes into community police mode and...
Public arrest. She has like one of those red lights like you'd put on the top of a car and goes wee wee. But she has like a giant megaphone thing, and she's blasting up all over the car. Take off your sunglasses.
Yeah, it's a whole lot. Then she like chews out the kids, and Monica's so embarrassed, and they drive away, and she uses the megaphone to go like sorry.
Yes.
So there was some kind of funny stuff in there. Then they kind of make the rounds at the mall to try to garner votes because all the teens are hanging out at the mall before prom.
Naturally.
And some people start to ask who Liz is. And
is that your mom? there's at least probably 5 or 6 times in this movie people like make jokes like, oh, you and your mother look like twins. Oh, your mother, it's so cute you guys are shopping together.
Yeah, and I feel like that's maybe like a slightly underdeveloped dynamic between them, is that Liz is kind of like a mother figure for her.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We briefly floated like the fanfic idea of her like hooking up with her dad at the end of the movie, which is good that it doesn't happen.
There's another love in Liz's life, or another love interest in Liz's life.
But to make it clear that she's not her mom, Monica says that this is my Aunt Hilda, and for some reason she also says that she's colorblind. And that comes up a couple of times where she's just like, this is my colorblind Aunt Hilda. And I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. Check back to Pierce, who is breaking into Monica's house.
Yep. He has like this weird green liquid goo that he puts on like the door handle.
No, he uses like liquid nitrogen.
Or liquid nitrogen, and then he busts off the door handle.
Cool stuff.
Yes.
My next note is, Liz is out of touch and poor.
She's like, buy these glasses are $500.
Yeah, they go to, I don't really know why they were shopping for sunglasses.
They were trying to kill time, weren't they?
Yeah, because they maybe had already gone to the salon, and the salon's like, hey, or take a buzzer. Or
take a buzzer and wait.
They gave out buzzers like they're at like BW3s or something.
But they travel very far with these buzzers. They go all over the world.
Yeah. Really, they're there to return
the dress.
Dwarf dress.
Yeah, that weird plastic thing.
And it's kind of funny where Liz is just like, what the fuck did you do, Monica? You fucked that up.
Well, the whole time, like, she's talking to a salesperson. Like, she's trying to plead her case. Like, oh, you got to let me, return this because of your no ask, no return policy or whatever it is.
Don't ask, don't tell. That's the policy.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, no, you definitely should not. Like, that is definitely your fault, Monica.
that was funny. I got a kick out of that as well.
But then when they're walking out of the store, Liz had worn or tried on some sunglasses, and she forgot them on her head.
Yeah,
and
so of
then,
course it goes beep, 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 beep.
Security guard comes out, and I feel like it could easily just been like, oh, sorry, I forgot them. But the security guard, because all security guards are failed cops, and even cops are drunk on power, so security guards
I'm gonna have to take you in for that.
Yeah, they're bitter about not being able to go on power trips. But then she like flashes like her police union card or something. So then he's like, okay, I'll let you slide. So if it wasn't already clear, there is something in her history about being a police officer at this point. Then we catch up with Monica's boyfriend, who we've only seen one other time, and Liz said he looks like a piece of shit, and he is a piece of shit because
we see him cheating.
Yeah. She's like, what are you doing? Oh, it's not what it looks like. Well, it looks like you're hooking up with my rival prom queen candidate.
Yeah,
I guess it is basically that.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. He was like feeding her French fries. Well, they just had four corn dogs. That's happened, I think, at this point.
At some point, Monica says, I need to go get some corn dogs, and orders 4. Which, how do you take your corn dog, Jacob?
Just ketchup.
That's the style I roll with.
Yeah,
some people
ketchup.
are like both. I think my mom likes mustard, but you know,
I'm really not a big mustard man myself.
I like mustard on a bratwurst or just like on a hot dog. I'll take just mustard. I don't like the combination of mustard and ketchup together.
I mean, if it's on my McDonald's, McDouble,
I'm not gonna
eat it.
I'll take that as it comes.
Complain, or I won't say no.
I'm a true dollar menunaire. I respect the items on the menu.
Respect. Word of the motherland.
Anyways, 4 corn dogs, which I don't know if I've ever eaten 4 corn dogs.
I thought they were going to share because Liz I don't know if Liz was just going to spray the mustard and ketchup all over her corn dogs, or if she was going to try to for herself. I don't know what was going on, but I think they're all for her.
We only see her eat partially one. Yeah. But we don't see Liz.
Well, no, because then she's distracted by the bay.
Or she gets a phone call, and I'm not exactly sure. Or no, I think her thing buzzes, so she's on her. Whatever the case is, the boyfriend's cheating, and then Liz kind of pretends to be an undercover mall security guard. I'm an undercover
officer. You're under arrest. Do the chicken dance. Do the Macarena.
And she searches his bag, and he's like, "You got pimple cream.
You got zit cream. You got stuff for your hairy back." He's like, "That's for my sister."
And then he's like, I'm starting to think you're not even a mall security guard.
I'm going to get a lawyer. My dad can get a lawyer. We're going to sue you for... And then this guy, the guy who had caught Liz for shoplifting, comes up behind her and is like, oh, actually, you're not a mall security officer. I am.
And she gets arrested.
Yeah, she gets arrested and she gets taken to the precinct.
So they do bring up also there, it's like, well, you were shoplifting too. So it's maybe not just, it's kind of like the double whammy of shoplifting and impersonating.
Yes, because he says to her, I'll let you off with just a warning, but if anything happens again, we're going to make a big deal about it, out of it.
But fortunately, Liz is a cop.
She's
kind of just a suspended cop. Cops defend cops.
Everybody knows
they
her
drop
at
the charge.
Everybody knows her down at the jail or whatever.
So we kind of eventually learn that the guy who drops her charges is like her former partner, and they maybe got a bit of a romance. But Liz is bad at flirting.
Yes, not that she knew of.
They're both unrequited crushing on each other.
Yes, Monica could tell from afar that they were each into one another.
And it's not clear at this point, but it's basically clear if you're not a child, that Liz's mom is the chief of police and shoots her out in classic fashion. Not quite for being a loose cannon, but it's in that
her
kind of
mother
sense.
Is over the top, like crazy lady. She's like screaming and
she should have been a general in How to Build a Better Bullet.
Yeah, she
would have actually shot somebody.
Very aggressive.
Then everything kind of gets revealed because Monica hears from her partner. It's like, well, let her tell you the story of what happened. Yeah. So this necklace is a real necklace. The diamond in it is real.
So, and when she's telling the story, we're seeing Pierce Peters.
Yeah, we're getting flashbacks. So it's a famous necklace that I guess...
$7 million. It was on, like you said, it was on a tour.
Yeah, art pieces going, stuff like that. So I guess this necklace was on loan.
And Liz was like head of security at the
local museum.
Yeah.
Very kind of under wraps vibes a bit.
Yeah.
She I don't know. She's like, I don't need any backup. I can guard this by myself.
And here we see Pierce Peters, Mission Impossible style.
Ethan Hunt floating down very
from the
slowly.
Ceiling. And like we were saying, there needs to be somebody there lowering him and raising him, but he somehow has an auto belay thing.
And this is where he uses his syringe of the
green goo.
Sour apple green goo or
and
whatever.
It deteriorates metal or glass.
And then it still sets off the alarm, but he just slowly gets pulled back up.
And Liz is just watching him.
She's powerless.
She chases him outside.
She didn't call for backup, so he got away.
Yes, and then we see him just drive off with a $7 million necklace.
But how did it wind up in the pawn shop?
Yes, so then here it shows like another little story of so he accidentally swaps it with some guy.
Like being an amazing jewel thief.
I really like this scene. So he was gonna swap it with somebody that kind of looks like Indiana Jones, but some other safari looking guy accidentally takes his bag, like they swap bags, they're not meant to. The safari dude is going on some date with some woman. He gifts her the necklace thing. She doesn't like the necklace, so she gives it to a mime. The mime uses it to buy a hot dog, and then whoever the hot dog guy is loses it at a poker game, and then
to a biker,
and then the biker cashes it in at the pawn shop.
I'm surprised you remembered most of those details.
It was fun. I like that. I like the visual because the whole time.
And this pawn shop owner somehow. Either it would make sense that he would lie and be like, "Oh, it's worth nothing. It's worth $10," and then realize it's a real diamond. But no, this crappy pawn shop owner just thinks that everything in it is fake.
So the whole kind of fun thing is, so Liz has taken this whole case upon herself because she's off the force since she lost it. But she's watching a bunch of hundreds of hours of footage. I think
some of it she was still doing when she was on duty, and she got so self-absorbed with it that she was relieved of duty.
Cause we see her watching all this footage, we see surveillance cameras of the biker guy, driving away from a poker game and all these different surveillance kind of footage. So it's kind of it's a fun little thing of storytelling there.
It's awesome living in a police state. Put cameras on every corner so we can track silly necklaces around town.
Yes, Fringe. Doesn't that happen in Fringe? No.
It happens in London.
London.
So then we get some character development, more about, hey, why can't you just make decisions on your own, Monica? I'm worried that people won't like me or something, whatever. It's time for her to take her driver's test.
Yeah, this is... So they show up. It's 2:00, right? And we see Pierce has broken into her house. So he also knows that they have a 2:00 appointment
for the driver's test.
Yes. So at this driver's test,
you got to bring your own car.
Yeah. So she has to use Brando, which which Liz is not happy with. So Liz sits in the back seat. They're doing the test.
That's what we guess, is that she wants to supervise her car. But
yeah.
Otherwise, typically your mom, which everybody, this driver instructor mistakes her for her mom still.
Everybody does.
I wish she was my mom.
Oh, wow. So she's doing terribly.
I would never have a bad hair day. But
she's horrible at driving. She can't do anything. She's like running red lights.
She's a real Jacob Telejohn.
Ouch. I passed on my first time.
Yeah, I never drove again.
Did you? Did you pass?
Well, I mean, I still drive, Jacob.
That's
so
true. That's true. You know.
Yes, no, I didn't pass my driver's test on the first time.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
Because I didn't fully stop at stop signs. I did rolling stops everybody does when they take or when everybody drives in real life. Never been in an accident. No, Sam Blazin, on the other hand, I've been in the car with him.
In an accident?
I mean, he like ran into a mailbox.
Jesus, Samwise. So during this test, she fails like everything, and then the test is about over. But then they realize,
well, no, it's not about over. The instructor's just like, pull over. I'm not letting you drive anymore because you're a danger to society.
So, but then they notice that Pierce is following behind them. So then, I think it was Liz that just says, "Gun it! You got to go fast. Get away."
And I was kind of partially taking notes here, so I was confused. I thought they were chasing Pierce, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Wait, why is Pierce chasing them?"
They're behind. So now they're running more stoplights. He's really freaking out. He's like, "Can somebody tell me what's happening? What's going on?"
The driving instructor.
Yes, the driving instructor. At one point, he pulls up alongside them. He wasn't brandishing like a gun or anything, but they're like, "God, we need to press the red button." And he's like,
well,
"Don't press."
He made a finger gun towards them.
Yes, he does make the finger guns. And they're like, "We need to press the red button," Liz says. And then the driving instructor's like, "You never press the red button." And so then they like,
he knows. He's like, "Oh shit, it's the nitrous."
So they do like a shift thing, press the red button, and then we just see whoosh, like the car just takes off.
And more influential is that it produces a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke.
Because really, they're still on like a residential street, so you would think the car could at least, like, if they really needed to speed there, they'd go like 50 or something.
So Pierce almost hits like an old woman
because he can't see because of the smoke.
So, but yes, he slams on the brakes, and then she's like walking in front of him, like just like a crosswalk, and then she smacks the front of his car with a bowling ball in her bag, something, because it sets off the airbag.
So that's why he loses them.
Yes.
And we kind of glossed over it, but like, I guess I can't really think of too many car chases we've had in Disney Channel original movies, so this was adequate.
Top 3 car chases in DCOMs?
Yeah, it could have been worse. It's not Blues Brothers levels or anything, but it was all right.
Yeah, we're not complaining.
So obviously she fails the test. I kind of thought it might be funny if the instructor's like, this was such a terrifying experience. I'm going to let you pass so I don't need to test you.
We've seen that in other movies. I don't know necessarily DCOMs, but other movies, yes. We've definitely seen that.
Does that happen in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Not that I know. No, I can't see it is. But one thing that we enjoyed was this kind of like how they portrayed the instructor, like how tall they made him. They had him up on like a curb, and he literally looks like he's like 8 feet tall compared to these.
I mean, I think both of the main actresses are pretty short.
Probably, yeah, but they just make him look like a massive giant. So no, you're never going to drive again. And in fact, he impounds Liz's Brando.
Because he was looking at all the devices and then I'd be like, this is illegal.
And because at one point he wasn't able to, he was trying to call 911 from in the car when they were being chased or whatever. And he's like, I can't even call the cops.
So at this point in the movie, we probably got maybe like 25 minutes or so left. So that means it's time for a third act fight.
Yeah.
Where the characters are just like, you're a loser. You got a crappy car. You're not a cop anymore because everybody doesn't like you. You suck. Well, you can't make decisions on your own. You're so desperate for everybody's approval. Blah, blah, blah. They walk away.
They literally are apart for maybe...
It's a scene. Because what happens is Monica gets like a video message from Pierce
with her papa tied up.
He learned because he like stole her iPad and got a text message on it somehow because the accounts were linked or whatever, that her dad was sending a selfie from work and he saw that it was at a hospital. So
he's like, without the bedpan,
to kidnap the dad. So he sends that to Monica and is like, hey, bring me the necklace. So
or your dad gets it.
Monica goes and gets Liz and they make up, and then they're on their way to save the dad.
They're in a taxi, and then they're on their way to the impound lot, right?
Yep. And this was kind of a fun scene.
Yeah,
where wasn't bad. I think his name's Arnie.
He has a dog named Poopy.
Yeah, he's another person kind of on a bit of a power trip where he's like, you gotta fill out the fucking form and wait. And as any good bureaucrat would be like. And then got to remember that she's kind of like a computer person. So Monica's like, I could probably hack into their system and adjust your car status to be released. But in order to do that, Liz has to
buy time.
Distract Arnie by flirting with him, which she's traditionally been bad at. And she's still bad at here, but Arnie...
She's like, you have an amazing forehead. I love it.
But Arnie is such a forever alone guy that he...
Sad. I feel bad for Arnold.
I know, because she's not going to go on a date with him.
And that is true. She has...
He eats up what she's given to him, and they know the password to the system, because he would be the only person with a password, and it would have
like
to be
a giant
Poopy.
bolster, or is it like a calendar? What was it?
He has a personal photograph of him and his bulldog wearing matching t-shirts, and underneath, as most people do, it just says Poopy to name his dog.
Oh, 90% of people's passwords are animal names, the pet names.
Well, to tell you, I've never used my dog's names.
Yeah.
Not for my own personal accounts. My mom uses 2 of our dead dogs' names. And then I'm like, oh, you capitalized one of them, but not the other. I always knew you liked that one more.
Ouch.
She's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God, that hurts.
It's for our family Netflix account. So now they've got the car, and the reason they needed the car is because the necklace was within Monica's makeup kit, and that was
they have to go find her friend.
But then they open the makeup kit.
And it's not there.
And it's not her makeup kit. It's Sierra's makeup kit because at some point...
they swapped in the bathroom or something somehow.
It was after she was sad about her boyfriend cheating on her.
I don't think it was intentional. At first we thought maybe she was going to sabotage her.
Now Jacob out of nowhere is like, I feel like her friend is being fake with her and is going to betray her at some point.
Yes, because her friend was very...
That's a lot.
That would have been
That's even more unlikely than the dad hooking up with Liz.
Oh, that should have happened.
Which this movie easily could have still done, and I would have been like, well, that's weird, but like, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, Papa doesn't get any action.
So they get the jewel, so then they just go to the warehouse where Pierce said he'd be, and it's time for the handoff. And I don't really know what Pierce is saying. He's kind of just, I think it's something like, well,
watching
I
soccer.
got the jewel, but like, you don't know where your dad is. And I guess it's supposed to be like, Monica uses Find My iPhone.
And he's literally like 10 feet away.
And it's like, I mean, I know it's kind of a GPS locator, but I think it'd just be like in this building. Not
wouldn't like beep or something?
Floor.
Wouldn't it go beep, beep, beep? Can't you send out beeps?
I don't know.
It did into the movie, but I think...
I've never used it. I never lose my phone.
Wow. Until
whenever I fall, I almost lost my AirPod this last fall.
Oh, no.
And I was just like staring into the snow on the street, and like some car was waiting to run me over.
Jesus.
Anyways, bad hair day. Pierre, that's not his name.
Pierce Peters. Pierce Peters.
Who is British.
Pierce
I think he was maybe watching rugby on the iPad at this point.
Yeah, something
He's
like that.
well, I'm going to make my exit again because you were distracted. And he hooks himself up to a harness and is getting lifted up. And then she's like, motherfucker, I called for backup. And then she tases the
pulls
shit
out a gun, and he, like he's getting like electrocuted because he's on like a wire.
Yeah, because I think she was maybe overdoing it. I don't think she needed to send the electricity for that long.
But it wasn't in her. She didn't pull it out of her holster, which she always carries empty. Well,
she had to turn in her badge and gun.
But she pulls out her taser, which we are introduced to earlier in the film because Monica asks, "Is that a gun?" She's like, "No,
if they hadn't set up the taser, I would have said this is the worst movie ever." But since they did set up the taser, Chekhov's stun gun,
yes, we'll allow
then it is the best movie ever.
Best movie ever. You've heard it here.
So then the police get him. It's all cool.
The movie's not over.
It's almost over. Liz is walking back with her dad to like the car, and she's like, "Hey, Dad. I'm worried about you because you got kidnapped. I definitely can't go to MIT because you might get kidnapped again." And he's like, "No, I'll only know I did a good job as a dad if you go to MIT.
True.
And like this was brought up like earlier in the movie where she's like, "Well, I'm trying to decide if I should go to a state school like everybody else or MIT." And Liz is like, "What? MIT? What the fuck is that?" It's like, come on. Liz isn't that dumb.
No.
She knows what MIT is.
Yeah, probably. At least she's heard of it.
It stands for Monica is the terrific.
Wow, the Monica is the.
I was like fogging up my glasses by saying the. That's solved. She's going to make her own decision to go to MIT. That's cool.
Yeah, she's starting to make her own decisions.
And she's kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to go to prom. And Liz is like, eh?
We'll give you a full escort.
Well, actually, first, she's reinstated by her mom,
Yes.
chief of police, and says,
This is where we find out it's her mother.
good job, here's your badge back.
Everybody's happy.
So Monica's like, well, I'm probably not going to win prom queen. The salon is buzzing now, but like, that's so far away, I don't got time. Oh, let's use police resources improperly. So they go to the evidence locker.
Love this.
To have a very quick makeover.
Shopping. They go shopping, basically.
It's kind of weird why they would have so many dresses, especially prom-style dresses.
Yes.
Because I was floating, I'm like, were these confiscated from, like, prostitutes?
Sure.
But I guess, I mean, evidence, it's like, oh, I think somebody said, like, online, is like, wait, does that mean, like, somebody died in the dress she wore? Like, why is this in the evidence locker? But she finds a nice dress, but, we got to do something about that hair. Well,
so Liz gives her a haircut.
What are we don't know what that looks like yet. As Jacob said, they get a police escort to the prom. So it's kind of similar to the end of How to Build a Better Boy, where instead of soldiers, there's just a bunch of police that show up to this
There's
prom.
like 20 cop cars. And like you hear Liz's mother say, keep the eye on the diamonds at all times.
And surprisingly, unlike the soldiers, the cops aren't just coming in with their guns drawn,
gun.
which seems very uncop-like.
Very.
But for a Disney Channel original movie, it's accurate for the cops in that. Because I remember in our first episode, that
under wraps?
Yeah, that when the cop is going into the museum, it's surprising that he doesn't have his gun drawn.
Oh, yeah.
Point at children.
I feel like we do make that remark.
And then first we see Liz come out of the car in a dress looking decent, and her mom, the cop chief, I don't know why I called her the cop chief.
Cop chief, yeah.
She's like, wow, I never thought I'd see my
Master
daughter
Chief.
in a dress.
And then she like lowers her dress for her.
And it seems weird. It's like, well, I don't know if it was really set up that she was completely unfeminine. It's just that she wasn't like as hip and stylish as Monica.
Yeah.
And then we see Monica come out of the car.
And the hair reveal.
And it's arguable that she's still having a bad hair day.
It looks like an animal. It looks like a beaver sitting in her head.
I definitely can't say what style of hair it is because I'm not a girl. I don't know hairstyles that well.
So her hair is really short.
Ways,
her hair is really short. Well, it's not like...
but it's not even really short. It's just...
It's like a mop head. I don't know. Like a bowl
like
cut.
A bob that's really long in the front.
It's weird. It's different.
I might even take her hair... Definitely with a hat on.
You would wear that hair?
No, I'm saying I'd take her hair during the bad hair day portion of the movie over this. Maybe, put the hat on, it was kind of a look she pulled off. But her friends all say it's awesome and you're super hot. And oh, by the way, you won prom queen. So she won prom queen off screen. So don't worry about that. But then she goes in, accepts her crown or whatever, and then gives a speech that's talking about like how meaningful it is to like be yourself, but she still loves all these people in her school that we haven't really seen the whole movie at all. And then she ends it by being like, hey, by the way, I'm going to MIT. And me and Jacob, we never went to prom.
No, we didn't.
But if that happened, we also, even if we went to prom, they never picked prom queens or anything. But like, I'd be like, I don't give a shit where you're going. And then she's just like, let's party down. But since she had broken up with her boyfriend, she just dances a little bit with her dad. Yeah,
we see her boyfriend with the one kind of mean girl. We didn't really talk too much about. We didn't even talk about the bike scene.
Oh no! How could we have not talked about the bikes?
We missed so many good moments. You definitely got to watch this movie.
You gotta watch Bad Hair Day.
You gotta watch it.
Liz also. Does she dance with her partner?
That's what I was just wondering.
We don't remember.
They definitely set them up, though. Like, they know that they like each other. Papa gets left
earlier in the movie, fumbled with practice flirting with the guy by saying he had really big nostrils. So she says again that this guy has really big nostrils, but since he likes her, he's like, okay.
Thank you,
better to snort you up.
Ooh.
And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much the end.
We get a few bloopers. I don't think any of them really seemed notable. Something with the corn dogs, but I think it was just like maybe the ketchup bottle made a funny fart noise or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nothing too crazy, I guess.
And that was
Bad Hair
Ferris
Day.
Bueller's Bad Hair Day. And honestly, you know what? I don't know if I'd say you'd have to watch it, but there is some the premise alone, and maybe we didn't like emphasize this enough, that this movie's Bad Hair Day. It's about a girl who has a bad hair day.
But it's not about the hair.
Mostly it's about her tracking down a jewel that was stolen. Yeah. Which is very much, I feel like, some anecdotally, but like in the 90s, it's like movies either were about like kids movies. There was a subplot about either about like jewel thieves or like corporate like malfeasance. Oh. So like, obviously classic. Dunstan checks in. It's about a jewel thief who uses an orangutan in a hotel.
It's a great film.
Air Bud strikes back. It's one about Air Bud playing beach volleyball, but also about Air Bud helping a parrot to thwart a jewel thief.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's quite bad. Bad Hair Day, I will say, is better than Air Bud Strikes Back.
Shots fired.
But yeah, as I talked about earlier, it's all about the relationship between these two characters and whether you find them charming or grating. I found them intermittently both.
They were tolerable, I think we could say.
At times.
Yeah.
The way they started out, I was like, oh God. But like, it is such a weird premise. There is some genuinely decent bits. And maybe we're grasping at straws since, you know, we've watched so many of these. And obviously we're like Stockholm Syndrome to be like, well, you know, this wasn't as bad as You Lucky Dog. So it must have been kind of the best movie ever. Not to speak for Jacob, because oftentimes he does come out being like, top 15.
Top 300 movies out there. I read one review online. It sounded like they were going to give them a poor review, but it ended up getting like 4 stars from this individual.
Are you going to read it?
Oh, the one that I'd read out to you.
Yeah, you're going to just talk about this review and not
I really like this movie. It's adventurous, funny, and enjoyable. But there are things that really bug me about the movie. One, Monica could have read the warning signs on the hairspray thingy. Another, that Monica's Medusa hair could have been not seen, is that she could have braided it or put it in a bun or something. 2, the movie wasn't even about her bad hair. Before I watched the movie, I thought it would be about someone who was born with crusty hair for some reason. It's called Bad Hair Day. But the bad hair is just a sidebar. Besides those 2 things, I think it's a pretty enjoyable movie, and I'd recommend seeing it with your family. 4 stars.
You know, whenever
Shout
you
out
see
to
your family
AJ.
Next, you know, Thanksgiving time or over the summer.
Load it up.
Time,
it's a great family flick.
Bad Hair Day.
Yeah, check it out.
We should have just read that review at the start and just called it an episode. I mean, what more can you say about Bad Hair Day?
Oh, man.
You got any more to say about Bad Hair Day, Jacob?
Do we do Never Forget?
Oh, no, because we're still talking about the movie.
No, the movie, it was just full of kind of just fun kind of antics. Like there's a handful of just weird kind of stuff that happened we didn't, touch base on. It's just a lot of kind of just weird, random, goofy stuff that happened.
We really didn't miss that much. It's one sequence.
The park scene when they're riding with the watermelon helmets and she's like riding in the front like a baby and she has her cop light on the front of the thing and they're
I wasn't asking you to cover the sequence.
Sorry. No, I didn't fall asleep. I wasn't on my phone. It had my attention.
He was.
No.
You were on your phone.
Not really.
There's literally like at the start of the movie, you're like, do I know anybody in this? And I said, yeah, the mom from Good Luck Charlie is in this.
Oh, I was maybe looking
you're like, do I know anybody in this? Is the movie started? She's going to have a bad hair day.
I was looking up stuff for the movie, I think. So.
Oh, sure. Jacob always looking up stuff on the movie.
Well, okay. So I have the wiki open. I have the Disney fandom. And I have the badhairday.fandom wiki open right now that I've been looking at.
I hate fandom.
4 million viewers it had. 4 million viewers opening night.
Yeah. Not good. So yeah, that was how to have a bad hair day better.
How to have a bad hair day better.
Yeah, never remember, could Monica or Liz. Or Monica and Liz maybe as a unit.
It's an and
have
definitely
stopped 9/11.
I don't think so.
No, maybe she could have like hacked into the...
Oh, yeah. I did forget she's a hacker. She does hack really well.
She's about as much of a hacker as like I was in elementary school.
Maybe she could have got them on different planes where there was just nobody on them.
Or maybe
like pilot.
She could have used it because there were points where she was like breaking pieces of her hair off. So maybe like that. Like,
use it as like a shank.
Yeah, it fashions into a weapon or
shanked him. That's a new thing people can start doing. Just stab people with hair.
It doesn't work though, unless you're like you're Bayonetta. I was like, who uses hair
Bayonetta
as a weapon? Yeah, if you're Bayonetta, I think you might be able to pull it off. But Bayonetta, definitely not Disney Channel original movie appropriate.
No.
I'd watch Bad Hair Day starring Bayonetta.
Ooh.
Jacob doesn't even know who Bayonetta is.
Is that from a video game?
Well, yeah.
What game?
Bayonetta.
Oh
2
God.
And Bayonetta 3.
How old is this game?
The first one probably came out like at least 15 years ago.
What system?
You loving this, everybody? Xbox 360.
Wow.
PS3, and then later on, Switch.
So Lucas has definitely
and PC.
Lucas has definitely did some naughty things to the thoughts of Bayonetta. That's what we're
Jacob always goes
uncovering.
Because I know a video game character because I played the first game and I own the second game, but I still haven't played it.
He's a naughty boy.
I got it.
He won't admit it, but I will for him. And I don't blame him. I'll check her out. I'll look her up here.
Do we get live reaction of Jacob looking up pictures of Bayonetta? I'll do the housekeeping while Jacob just all of a sudden goes, oh my God. You can find us, write us in about how you feel about Bayonetta at a whole new pod.
Yeah.
gmail.com.
Yep. That's a yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, mommy.
His eyes have rolled back into his head. His tongue is lolling out. Steam coming out of his ears. He's taking a mallet and hitting himself on the head. Yes, the email address is awholenewpod@gmail.com. Looking at our stats, it seems like we've gotten some new listeners, but sometimes I feel like new listeners maybe start at the beginning because that is the premise of the show, that we're covering all the movies. So maybe they get worn out before they get to the newest episodes, or they're not listening to the new episodes right away. But if you're listening to this and you're a new listener, kind of just write in and say like how you're feeling about the show or how you found us, because we don't really know why we're getting a spike. We
don't know where. Leave comments, anything. Leave reviews.
I'd love to say
YouTube
it's all because
videos.
of Dustin, but I don't know if
the
that
Dustin,
adds up.
the Dustin hype.
Speaking of Dustin, though, you can find us on Twitter as well at AWNPod. Mostly tweets new stuff for when the episodes come out, but occasionally a little extra bonus content.
Yeah.
And all of the podcast platforms, find us on those places: Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. Review us where you can. At least 4 stars, 5 stars if you want to be our favorites. And youtube.com/awholenewpod. Like, comment, and subscribe there. If you comment, I'm usually good about responding to most of the comments, unless we haven't talked about, and we haven't gotten too many comments in a while of just like, why isn't this the real movie written in a foreign language? So, kind of missing those.
True.
And with that, I don't think this episode ended up being too short.
We survived. Just don't go tripping before next pod, Lucas. No more falls.
I'll try my best. And to go out from a reference to the album of Weird Al Yankovic that shares the same name as this movie. As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize
she's very plain.
Excuse me, I'd like to return this jacket.
Certainly. May I ask why?
For spite.
Spite?
That's right. I don't care for the salesman that sold it to me.
I don't think you can return an item for spite.
What do you mean?
Well, if there was some problem with the garment, if it were unsatisfactory in some way, then we could do it for you. But I'm afraid spite doesn't fit any of our conditions for a refund.
That's ridiculous. I want to return it. What's the difference what the reason is?
Let me speak with the manager. Excuse me. Bob?
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I want to return this jacket, and she asked me why, and I said for spite, and now she won't take it back.
That's true. We can't return an item based purely on spite.
Well, so fine, then. Then I don't want it. That's why I'm returning it.
Well, you already said spite, so...
I changed my mind.
No? You said spite. Too late.